Hello all and good afternoon and welcome to this webinar on how eSign can make IRDAI compliance easier and more secure. As mentioned, two quick house rules. We will be sharing a recording of this within the next 48 hours in your email inbox. We will also be uploading a recording of this to our YouTube channel. Shubhash will drop the link to our YouTube channel in the chat shortly. We will also be throwing open the floor for an open Q&A at the end. But if you have any questions during the session, please drop them in the Q&A box. Sometimes we take up a lot of the questions in the Q&A box during the session itself. So just some introductions. I'm Aditya, Head of Marketing at Legality. My co-host for today is Shubhash, who leads product marketing efforts for Legality. And a quick recap of the agenda. We'll be showing you three key things today. One, how eSign can help reduce policy issuance costs by up to 50% while ensuring 100% compliance with the IRDAI rules. Two, how eSign can help you design a world-class revival and claims and general service request process that eliminates fraudulent claims, enhancing your compliance. And three, how eSign can help with three key IRDAI documents: the proposal, the EIA, and the CIS. And the way we'll structure this webinar is I'll cover each of these one by one. And at the end of each section, I'll give a 5-6 minute analysis. And at the end of each section, we'll dive into practical and Shubhash will show you a short demo of how this would actually work in an eSign driven process. In total, we'll take, I think, about 25 to 30 minutes before we move on to the open Q&A. We will be done quite early today. Just a brief recap of Legality and what we currently do in the insurance space before starting. We work with several top insurers, both traditional and digital. Most of our work in insurance has been for legal documentation use cases and not core insurance documents. In this webinar, we make the case for why eSign and therefore hopefully in your eyes Legality as well makes sense for core insurance documents as well. So let's start with the first section. How eSign can help reduce policy issuance costs by 50% while ensuring 100% compliance with IRDAI rules. Now, when we talk or contemplate an eSign process, we're obviously talking about an e-insurance process, not a physical one, right? And IRDAI rules on this are crystal clear. All e-insurance policies must be digitally signed, right? There is no ambiguity here. But what exactly does this mean, right? So under the Indian IT Act, when any law or regulation uses the word sign or the words digitally sign, there's a very specific meaning under the IT Act, under Section 5 of the IT Act, right? So what does Section 5 say? Section 5 of the IT Act basically says that when a document requires a signature, right, or the word sign or digitally sign are used, only electronic signatures as prescribed under the IT Act can be used. You can't just use any mode of electronic authentication and say that's electronic, so it must be e-sign. So what this means is e-insurance policies must be signed. If you're doing it digitally, it's an e-insurance policy. They must be signed by any of the following listed on screen. Any type of Aadhaar e-sign, any type of PAN e-sign, a DSC token e-sign, the USB sticks that you will be familiar with, or a doc signer, right? These are the only 4 types of electronic signatures under the IT Act that can be used whenever a regulation prescribes e-sign, right? This means that for this as well, IRDAI has clearly specified digitally sign, you have to use these 4 types. This also means you cannot use a visual crop of a physical signature or just a simple OTP-based authentication. Both of these are electronic modes of authentication, but they are not electronic signatures under the IT Act, right? Just because they're electronic does not mean they're actually valid for this purpose. And a lot of insurers make this mistake, right? So what many insurers do is they use the cropped signature and the OTP. What others do is they use a digital sign, right? But they operationally do it in a very cumbersome way, right? So they either have someone do the DSC manually, very laborious, tedious, and time-consuming process, or they have some agency do this for them. Again, very costly and time-consuming, as well as the added risk of misuse of DSC. So we did a quick analysis of the top 20 insurance companies. We could find intel on about 17 of these, and we wanted to understand the breakup of what's the practice in the market for policy signing. So what we found is that 5 of them were non-compliant on the face of it, right? When you get the policy, you get either a cropped signature image or an OTP-based sign, not an IT Act e-sign, right? 12 of them are compliant, but choose an inefficient way of doing it. They do DSC on their own or they outsource it, right? Or some of them, 8 of them, are using a doc signer which is automated, but that doc signer itself has some vulnerabilities without a proper secured audit trail, right? So net, there's a lot of variance in the market, and most of this variance doesn't result in a smooth process. Some of this variance does not even result in a compliant process. That's where our first solution of today comes in. Our brand new product, which we're revealing in public for the first time in this webinar, Sign Station, right? Sign Station is a super simple doc signer utility that you can use to affix digital signatures on policies automatically, right? It's low cost and super secure, right? Balances both needs with a proper Evidence Act compliant audit trail. So with Sign Station, you get an automated efficiency of automation. You save money on the process, and at the same time, you ensure better compliance than your current process, especially if you're not using a doc signer in your current process. So let's move on to a quick demo of Sign Station. So Shubhesh, over to you. And
Thanks a
just a
lot.
reminder, just put your questions in the Q&A if you have any during the session or during the demo as well.
I hope my screen is visible.
Yes.
Great. Welcome everyone. And in this demo, what we've done is we've made like a mock app of the policy administrative system that your agents would have. In this, the customer has already filled the application. They've done KYC, they've acknowledged the e-proposal. And now what we need to do is we need to issue them the policy once they've acknowledged the proposal. So for your agent, it's going to be super simple. If they use Sign Station in their app, all they need to do is click a button, in this case generate policy, hit APIs to Sign Station, and your agent will get the policy right in their policy administration application. Just for short, I'll use pass going forward in the demo and in subsequent demos. As you can see, this was my dummy insurance policy, and this got signed by the doc signer. Now what's happening on the background? Sign Station is where you'll configure your doc signer that you want to use for any policy signing. It's super easy. Just ignore this. It's asking me to change my password. And let's say you have any policy that you want to sign or that wants to get signed. What I'm showing you right now, it's a manual process, but if you integrate APIs, it's going to be automatic. Your agent will never have to come to this dashboard. This dashboard will only be for you to manage your doc signers with which you're signing your policies. Let's say
just one more thing, and Shubhesh, you can show it after this. That sign that Shubhesh showed you after he clicked the button happened in real time. It was not, it was instantaneous because it's an automatic sign, but it happens on the fly in real time. Just if you are using a doc signer, you'll be familiar with this process.
correct. So how that is happening is what I'm showing you right now, manually via the dashboard. So you have both options, whether you want to use a dashboard, which may not be sustainable for a policy signing use case, but just showing you like on the back end what's happening. So let's say we'll start signing this document. So I've uploaded my policy. This is my policy. And as you can see, this is the same policy I was showing you just a minute back. This is the doc signer signature that was there. I can drop my signature coordinates, or I can select what are the default coordinates for it. Either way it works. And then I have to select which certificate I need to sign it with. And then I can enter my name. I can enter the reason why I'm signing it, or even I can enter the location from where it is getting signed. So let's say you want to monitor where the document was signed, whether it was, let's say, Mumbai, Delhi, so you can do that also. So it's up to you. Basically, whatever information you want to pass, you can. If you don't want to pass, you don't have to. All of it's optional. Once that's done, you simply just click on sign document and your policy is signed. And for each policy, you also get an audit trail, which will also get stored in your PAS systems and will be available to you whenever you want. It will have basic information like what system was used to sign this policy. It will have its IP address, what kind of browser and all it was used, who was the admin person or user person who did it. Sorry, I clicked on the email, so that's why it opened. Yeah. And just coming back to this in the PAS, I just want to quickly show you again how it's happening for the agent. So they'll just click the button, APIs will get hit for sign station, and a fully signed policy will be available to the agent. If you want to send this to your customer, you can. If you don't wanna, or if you want to manually send it, that's a decision that's up to you. However you want to send
And
it.
of course, you can also integrate it directly. So if, let's say you want an agentless process where a customer uses your app to generate it, you can integrate it there as well, where the customer can click that button in your front end and the signed policy will be issued instantly. You can obviously build your checks in the back end to see if they're eligible and things like that. So that happens at your end. The point is, when you're ready for a policy to be issued, you can pre-fill it and then you can get it signed via SignStation. So you can generate it at your end and use SignStation to affix the doc signer with a click of a button.
Yeah. With that, back to you, Aditya.
Thanks, Shubhesh. So, yeah. The next thing we'll cover, and we'll be sharing, as I said, a recording, and we'll also be sharing screenshot flows in the deck. We'll be sharing this deck with the recording as well, right? So next section we'll cover is how eSign can help you design a world-class claims and service process. Because as any insurance customer will tell you, I'm not going to mince words, the traditional claims and service request process is sheer customer hell, right? No one likes this process. But before that, sorry, there is a small poll. You just saw the SignStation demo. If you want to see SignStation customized for your use case, you want to fix up a one-on-one demo of this to explore it further, there's a poll. You can just vote yes, no, or not yet. After you vote, we'll contact you depending on what you answer, right? If you, of course, you answer no or not yet, we won't contact you. If you answer yes, we will. So just an easy way to book a one-on-one demo with our team. So the poll is up. I'll just give 30 seconds and then we'll move on to the next step. Cool. As I was saying, the traditional claims and service request process is sheer customer hell. No one likes this process. The customer doesn't like it. Like, it's a pain. Like, at the moment, they are themselves in pain when they need to claim their insurance. They are made to run around. And of course, from the insurer's end, also, it's not all smooth sailing, right? There's a huge operational cost. There's a huge burden on your agents to get this done or your staff to get this done. And there's also potential for fraudulent claims, which can clog your system, right? So it's this cumbersome claims and revival process that has led to an increasing trend of people shifting to new age insurance companies with tech as the backbone, right? Especially for fast growing segments like auto and travel, where people are comfortable getting it fully digitally, right? In fact, if you see any ad of any modern tech enabled insurer, they specifically target the claims process itself, right? Showcasing how easy it is at their end. And what is unsaid is, of course, they are targeting traditional insurers with this messaging that the claims process is a pain, right? In fact, IRDAI as well, if you look at IRDAI rules, is also encouraging even traditional insurers to move towards a tech first approach, right? So an eSign process can help traditional insurers, right? It can help traditional insurers achieve digital excellence with no mistakes, no fraud, and a super easy experience for the customer. What I've shown you on screen is a claims flow, but this honestly applies to things like revival and other types of service requests as well. So the key thing here is that eSign will enable you to do this without a full stack overhaul, right? You don't need to build like a full stack digital application necessarily, say digital first insure tech companies, right? Instead, using eSign, you can make this leg of the process, right? The claims and revival process, a better experience for the customer without necessarily changing any other part of your insurance tech stack, right? So it's not that, okay, now I need to make my entire stack like a digital first insurer. With eSign, you can plug it into this leg of the process and at least give your customer a digital experience, at least at this leg, which they currently find the most cumbersome. So let's do a quick demo. And yes, we received a question that, like, can we share the circulars that we are referring to? Yes, in the mail that we send you, along with the recording and the deck, we'll also share a link to the circulars. So over to you, Shubhesh. How do we do claims and revival process or any service request process through eSign.
Great. So what I've done here is I've made another mock interface for your website or your app where the customer is going to come to file the claim. They'll enter some basic information like the name, email address, the policy number with which you'll track what their insurance policy is. Let's say they've entered it and clicked on file the claim. This is let's say a car accident and they're getting the car repaired. So you just collect some basic information more. You ask for the driving license, photos of the car for proof, and then you click on sign claim. So this will open a claims form, which will have all the information that was there already in your system and all the information that was filled here. But let's say you don't want to build this interface. So with legality, we give you the option. You can also fill all of that information directly through our interface. So the person will fill this form directly here. They can again enter photos as they want for car front, side, back. They can select where the car is right now, and then they'll click on preview. So as you can see, this was the information that we saw was entered here. And this I've added another field just to show you how our template engine works. And if a person is filling information on our portal, how would it look? So it's up to you how you want to do it. Both options are available to you, whether you collect information directly within your website or app, or if you want to collect it via legality, you can do that as well. So I'll click on proceed. Now this is an OTP based virtual signature. So I'll have to enter the OTP. Just give me 1 second and I'll enter the OTP. Yeah. So first step is because you want to ensure that this claim is filed by a genuine person and this is a genuine claim, we're capturing the location where the person is filing this claim from. As you can see, this is my current location. Then we'll proceed. Now we're doing a small face capture, which is going to match my face to the face that was, or rather the photos that was taken during policy issuance of the person who's holding that policy. So I'll So as you would saw, like the system was telling me certain things, right? Move closer and move back, hold still. That is a liveliness check to ensure a person is not holding a photo in front of the camera of the same person who issued the policy. So legality is checking in real time whether the same person who issued the policy is filing this claim. If you want to have that check, you can. And also at the same time, it's checking that a person should not be able to put a photo in front of the camera while doing that and file a claim. So two checks happened there. I'll click on proceed again. And this claim forms, I'll quickly scribble my name and sign after giving my eSign consent. So my claims form has been signed. And as soon as it is signed, the person will also get a copy of that claims form along with the audit trail for that particular claims form. So this is the form. As you can see, here is my signature. If I had uploaded photos, they would have appeared here. This is my signature again. And this is the audit trail for this particular transaction. It will have all the details for me, which IP I've used to access this claims portal from. It will have my face capture that I did. It will also give me a percentage match for liveliness, and it will have my GPS location as well. So let's say a person is filing this claim from West Bengal and they're filing a claim that their car was in an accident in Mumbai. So you can this would be a red flag for you in that case. So that's why we're like you can enable, disable whichever security features you want as per your requirements and your needs. So that was the claims process. And yeah, once this is done, it will go to your claims team and they can process it further. With that, we are done with the claims demo. Back to you, Aditya.
Awesome. Thank you, Shubhash. Right, now let's come to the third and final section of this webinar. This is purely compliance focused. So there are various IRDAI rules governing three documents, the CIS, EIA, and the proposal document. And they all have certain things in common, right? They require verifiable consent. They require certain mandatory details to be filled in. And for the CIS and proposal, they also need to be in vernacular. So what exactly is the issue with the status quo, right? For CIS, I mean, it's slightly different for each document. For CIS, it's a forgotten document. It is sent with the proposal. Most insurers send it with the proposal. But the insurer usually never collects the customer acknowledgement on the CIS, right? This is despite the IRDI requiring customer acknowledgement on CIS specifically as a mandatory requirement. And in fact, if you see the IRDI CIS template in the annexure, right, it actually requires a signature as the mode of acknowledgement. So most insurers don't, of course, do this because I think IRDI itself does not enforce this much. However, if they do start enforcing it, most insurers are not ready. For the EIA as well, IRDI requires a signature very specifically, right, in the annexure itself. And for the proposal, the third document, the IRDAI requires a verifiable consent with clear evidence, right? So first things first, the first thing you need is, of course, for all three documents is you need mandatory details filled in, right? And it's this leg of the process where blank form signing often happens in the traditional insurance process, right? If you want to, and at a central level, it's very hard to fix this because any rogue agent can do it, right? So with eSign and with a digital paperwork flow, you can actually fix this at a systemic level with an automated fill system, right? Like the one we're showing you on screen, right? Where data from your PAS directly flows into the document and the document is then fully generated as an unalterable PDF. So that's a mandatory detail requirement filled, done systemically to prevent things like blank form signing. The next requirement is vernacular, right? So to do this, you need something like a language select screen similar to an ATM. Each language select screen should be mapped to a workflow containing the document kit of that language. So when the customer selects a language, it should trigger that specific workflow. And then, of course, the customer sees both the document and the interface in vernacular. Third step is an authentication. All documents require some form of authentication. What happens more often than not for these three documents is insurers often do a simple OTP authentication. At best, sometimes it's just a checkbox, right? Without an OTP as well. So this process will not work. One, because it's not a signature, right? So for the proposal and the CIS, sorry, the EIA and the CIS, you need a signature, right? IRDS prescribed signature. And remember what we told you earlier, that where a regulation specifies signature, you can't do an OTP or click wrap. You need an IT Act eSign, like an Aadhaar eSign, if you want to do it digitally. For the proposal, of course, this would be valid. It's an authentication after all. But you need an authenticated electronic method with clear evidence. And you need to also be able to ensure that actual authentication is done by the policy holder, that the agent just didn't do it on their behalf. So net is like whether you use an e-sign or whether you use an e-authentication for a proposal, you need that entire flow to have a fully like visible, trackable, secure, evidence act compliant audit trail, right? Whatever mode you use. With a simple OTP or a simple checkbox, that doesn't happen. So with eSign process or with a document workflow process, you can actually ensure compliance, make it more secure without actually affecting your operations too much. So let's move on to the demo. Shubhash will show you the last and final demo of today, how to do EIA, CIS, proposal, and any other document that IRDI requires a signature, how to build a workflow for that and how that workflow actually works.
Great. Thanks a lot, Aditya. So I'll come back to this mock app again for PAs that we had made. Again, this can be the app that your customer is directly buying insurance from that you've given to them, or it can be a PAS which your agent is handling. So once the policy is generated, if you are giving your CIS with it or after it, that's up to you, whatever order you want to do it. So in this, they'll just have to click to finalize CS and automatically a fully filled CS will get generated. Now you can open it within your app or your website itself, or you can send the link to this over email, SMS, or WhatsApp to your customer. So this is my CIS. As you can see, my signatures will get placed here. I'll click on proceed after seeing it. Also, one thing I forgot to tell you, here I'm assuming that the person knows English, which is why this entire agreement and interface is in English. But let's say this person requests a vernacular CIS. So you can very easily create or rather recreate this CIS in vernacular language using legality templates. And also this interface then also can change language accordingly. Let's say the person is comfortable in Bangla. So we'll click that, and the interface language, if you'll see, this has changed. Document, obviously, once it has gone out in a certain language, cannot change because it's a PDF. But from start, if you configure multiple languages for CIS, you can very easily show up Bangla CIS here. So I'll switch back to English. I'll click on proceed. My signature will get affixed. I'll give eSign consent. And my CIS has been eSigned. Again, as customer, I will get the CIS, which is signed on my WhatsApp, email, or even SMS, wherever you want. So this is my CIS. This is my signature, along with the audit trail that was generated for this. So this is my audit trail. Again, this has information about which system was used, who signed it, what browser was used, and it will also have my eSign consent. If I had chosen a vernacular language, this would have been captured in a vernacular language. With that, CIS demo has also come to an end. Every other document in this you can execute in a very similar fashion, and it will be available to the customers via WhatsApp, email, SMS, or even in your app.
Great. Thanks, Subhash. Yeah, let's move on to open Q&A. Just before that, just again mentioning legality can help you sign core insurance documents. It can help you sign vendor documents, absolutely any document, right? Either through our core document workflow infra, right? Where you can actually build and stitch together an end-to-end journey with security features, with pre-fill, and with various other features, right? What Shubhesh showed you for the last demo, right? The CIS demo, where you want to stitch together multi-layered complex document workflows. And of course, if you want to use us for simple policy signing, you can use SignStation, our simple doc signer product, right? If you want to reach out to us, we will drop our email IDs in the chat. We will also be sending you an email with the recording and deck, as I mentioned. You can reply to that email as well if you want to talk to us about any of these solutions, right? And if you don't want a solution yet, you're not interested in it, but you still want to know like regulatory updates, case studies on how others are using it, and latest product updates, you can sign up to our weekly updates facility. It's on either WhatsApp or email as per your preference. And once a week max, we send across something that's either a relevant regulatory update, either a latest product update, or a case study from anyone in the industry. So with that out of the way, you can stop sharing the deck and we can move on to the open Q&A. We've received one question in chat. You can raise your hand if you want to ask question verbally, but I will answer the question in chat first. So the question in chat, and I don't think the entire audience can see it, so I'll read it out, is that in health cases, lab reports are signed digitally by pathologists via a cropped signature. Are these acceptable? So as far as we know, and based on our research, lab reports specifically need a signature, right? So if you do this digitally, as I mentioned, you have to use an IT Act eSign because signature is a mandatory requirement. So you can only use Aadhaar eSign, PAN eSign, Doc Signer, or DSC for this, right? Lab reports cannot use a cropped signature. That would be invalid, right? We will send a written answer with the email that we send, citing the provision and giving a link to the regulation with a full detailed, deeper analysis. Thanks for that question. And yes, something like SignStation, we showed it for policy, but it can be used for any document where you need a single signature and you need it on a recurring automated basis with a certain logic configured as to when that automated signature will be affixed, right? So we showed you a demo of SignStation with policy signing where someone clicks on it and it automatically signs, but you can build that flow for absolutely any document, including a lab report as well, right? Like where a pathologist simply clicks to sign and the doc signer is then affixed, right? Remember, doc signer is one of the IT Act eSigns. Do we have any other questions? Please do drop them either in chat or in the Q&A box. Or raise your hand actually, like either, three options. Great. We'll be like online for 2 more minutes if you have any questions. If in case some question crops up after we end the webinar, you can reply to the email we send you with the recording. We will be sharing that email either today evening or latest Monday first half. All right. So just be on the lookout in your inbox. The email will have the recording, it will have the deck, and it will have written answers to the question we received. And if you receive any other questions, written answers to those. And you can just reply to that email with further questions if you need to. Cool. If there are no other questions, we can end.